and we are off. Your Wonderland adventure has begun, and here we are on day one of Gateway to Wonderland. And I am thrilled and utterly delighted that you're here. We are in for a magical 5 days, and I am looking forward to seeing how your journey, how your adventure unfolds. So today we're going to begin by exploring what Wonderland is and what it's not. Because when you think of Wonderland, you already have an idea of what Wonderland looks like, what it is. And so I'm just going to share my ideas of what Wonderland could be, and also the Wonderland that I'm inviting you to participate in. So the first version of Wonderland that we see is that mythical, magical, fairy tale version of Wonderland. So think Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, a place where you can grow tall, you can grow small, where you fall down a rabbit hole and end up in this crazy, magical, amazing place full of speaking cats and mad hatters and all of that. It might be sort of a place that you think of as La La Land. It doesn't actually exist. Now that is a version of Wonderland, and as much as I love fairy tales, as much as I love the idea of alternate realities and anything being possible, that is not the Wonderland that I am inviting you to explore. So it's not a mythical, magical place that isn't grounded in reality. The Wonderland that I'm talking about is very much rooted in everyday life. So although I painted a picture from when you signed up of the Wonderland and life, and of them being separate places, they're not separate. They're very much intertwined and a part of each other. And I want to explain a little bit more about what I mean by that. But before I do that, let's just look at the second version of Wonderland. So this is the Wonderland that I painted a picture of. The Wonderland that's in your dreams. The Wonderland where your desires lie. So it's this place of beauty, of great things happening, of you receiving all your good. And it's probably the idea that when you've achieved a certain something, then you'll be in Wonderland. So it's like all these amazing things are going to happen when we've reached that point. So you're crossing over that bridge, and then it's like right now you're in everyday life, and then you're in Wonderland. And so they're quite separate. It's like shitty things happen in life, but amazing things happen in Wonderland. And when you've got your 6-figure business, or when you've met your soulmate, or when your kids leave home, or whatever it is, that dream, that goal it is that you're looking for, when that happens, then you'll be in Wonderland. Then your dreams will come true. And so what tends to happen is we go on a quest, we go on a journey to achieve those goals, to manifest those goals, to receive our desires, and we have tons of fun along the way. And sometimes we receive them, sometimes we get to where we want to go, and we discover that Wonderland isn't everything that we thought it would be. And other times we might not get there. But it's this whole idea, this whole Wonderland of a place where our dreams will come true, and we usually have to achieve something before we get there, that our circumstances have to be a certain way. It's what I describe as when, then. When that happens, then we'll be happy. And it's pretty much what a lot of the personal development world and the marketing that's done for helping you grow your businesses, which was a world that I occupied for years and years. And it's a very important part of the journey. So you wouldn't be here now had you not already explored that path, had you not already tried to receive or achieve those goals, that inner wholeness, as it were, that you were craving, if you hadn't been down that path. And so it's an important part of your journey. But that isn't this whole idea of when our lives are amazing, like when these certain circumstances are met, that's Wonderland, because that's what that's really what the picture is painted in so much of our lives. We have this idea that, well, when we've achieved that goal, then everything could be okay. And I know it's not always like that we are probably more pragmatic than that, and we know that more money or meeting the love of our lives isn't the answer to our prayers. But yes, somewhere on in our being, that is what we're craving, and that is what we want, whether it's a knight in shining armor to come rescue us, or it's walking on that stage and like being applauded by everyone. We have this kind of place that instigates we've made it. So there's this idea that we'll be in Wonderland when we've made it, and then where we've made it will be different for each of us. Like, I used to envisage myself up on the stage, like speaking to thousands of people, and they're all going, like, hanging off my every word. Wow, Melina, you're amazing. And then I realized I didn't particularly enjoy speaking on stages after all. But what I was looking for was to fill a hole within my heart, to fill a hole within my being, that I believed that standing on that stage would give me. But the truth is, none of that outside, those outside circumstances will fill that void, will fill that hole. And so the Wonderland that I'm inviting you to step into, and the journey that we're going to be exploring over the next 5 days and beyond, should you choose to, is an inner world. It's filling that hole. It's filling that void that we think the external circumstances are going to give us. So the Wonderland that I'm referring to, true Wonderland you might call it, is actually a place within. It's a place you come from. It's a place that it's not actually a place, it's a feeling within. And so if we think about all our desires, and I'm going to have you do an exercise at the end of this video, not an exercise, this is your daily challenge, to explore your desires, because they're really important. It's not that we want to get rid of them or any of that. It's they form the foundation of where you're wanting to head. And so they're really important. If you have the desire, it's there for a reason. The thing is, we can get attached and fixed on our desires, and especially attached and fixed on them having to appear in a certain way. And what we are doing over the next 5 days is to really look at those desires, but from a bird's eye point of view. So we're stepping out of the micro, we're stepping out of the day-to-day life. Even though our desires might be huge, we're taking a step beyond that to look at why you want those desires in the first place. And I suspect that the reason that you're here is because there's a feeling that something's missing. There's a feeling that if you can just get that final piece, that's something, then everything will fall into place. You know, that it's like that domino effect, the dominoes all falling into place, and there's one missing. So you can't do all the fancy dancing domino effect without that one piece. And we're going to be exploring what that is, because if you were going to find it, amongst the external success, you wouldn't be here. You would have either found it by now or be well on your way to that journey. You are here because you're wanting something else. You're wanting like this magical, total, fulfilling experience of life. And it's what I call wholeness. So that idea that there's something missing, there's something missing within. It's not without, but we search without. It's like I never really experienced as a hole in my heart, but it was like a hole, something that I was craving, and I searched everywhere outside of myself for it. And I didn't find it outside of myself. I only found it when I started to go within, when I started to look at life from a different perspective. And we're going to be exploring that in these 5 days. And we're going to go far. We're going to travel a long way. And you're going to experience the delight and some of the magic that is available for you, and you're going to get glimpses of it. And at the same time, we are also only going to be able to scratch the surface, and this is an opportunity to see whether you want to go further, whether you want to explore Wonderland more or not. And so if we look at our lives, and we all come from different backgrounds, we all have different life experiences, we're all headed in a different direction. Our life is very unique. There's only one of me, there's only one of you. And even though certain things may be similar, I will share things and you'll say, yes, that's been like it for me. There'll be a lot of resonance, and there'll be other things that are different. That there's only you who has experienced your life in the way that you have experienced it. And so it's this unique path that you're exploring, but at the same time, there are also sort of certain similarities between all of us. Like, we are connected biologically. And so what I've seen play out in my life actually plays out in many people's lives. It's not just me. Now, I might experience it in a certain way, but the fundamental sort of journey, as it were, the big pieces are similar. And so when we're born, we're perfectly whole and complete. Like, there's no sense of something missing. There's no sense of not being good enough. There's none of the angst. We're not born into angst. We're just born and we delight our parents. And then, as we, generally speaking, there are always exceptions. And as we grow up, we go to school, we learn to conform, and we learn that in order to be happy and successful and to live a good life, we have to behave, we have to do things a certain way. And we tend to sort of pick up this idea that there's a right path and a wrong path. At least that was certainly, it was right and wrong that was certainly there for me, that so long as I followed this particular path and did the right things, then my life would turn out great. And so I went to school, I got good grades, I did my A-levels, as we do here in the UK. I went to university, got a degree, like I did all the right things. And then I started my working career. Like many of you, but my working career didn't give me what I craved. It didn't give me the independence that I was looking for, the freedom that I wanted, and it certainly didn't give me the income that I desired. Other people may have found themselves on a corporate path. I worked for a small company, but on a corporate path, and they had the income, but not the freedom. So they're working all hours and they just didn't have a life. So, but however it got you to that next bit, there was this idea that I'm not where I want to be and I need to do something different. And so I left my job and I started my own business, like many of you. And I believe that my business would give me that I wanted. It would give me the success. It would give me the kudos, that standing in the community, that people saying, "Oh, Melina, you're great. We love you," and that through that, then I would live the life that I wanted. Yeah, this idea of this wonderland. And I did have success in my business. I took it to 6 figures because at the time, that was my holy grail, as it were, 6-figure business. It was what I wanted. It was certainly what many of my peers wanted. But that still didn't fill that hole within. It didn't give me what I craved. And that's what led me down this path to Wonderland. I thought, there's got to be something else. There's got to be something else that I've craved. And in the past couple of years, this concept that it's not without, but it's within me. And that by shifting how I experience life, by shifting my perception of life, then that hole that I wanted to fill, that missing piece, I've kind of found it. That's a bit, I'm hesitated to say I've found it, because in truth, there is no missing piece. It's just this hole within that we're trying to fill. Based on our history, it might be love, it might be appreciation, it might be, I think those are pretty much probably the only two, love and appreciation. There would be more, but it's this idea of that we expect the external accolades will fill that hole, and they really don't. And so we want to start to look at the things that it is that you truly want, rather than the desires, the goals. So that's when I said let's take a bird's eye view. What I meant was that we move beyond the physical, the idea, and we look at what that will give us. So today, what I want you to explore is your desires, what it is that you desire. What is that version of Wonderland that you want for your life? So we are gonna go there. It's imagine if you have finger snapping magic and you could have your life be exactly the way you wanted it to be. What would that look like? How would that be for you? And write them down and have some fun with it. Play some music, do some dancing beforehand if you want, whatever kind of excites you. Really explore this place that would where the magic would be. What would it look like? Try and get into as much detail as possible. But this is just the first part, to paint a picture. And a little bit later on today, you are going to receive another email, another video, that's going to take it a step further. But we're doing this in sequence, and that's really important. So make sure that you follow each and everything in sequence. So that's your challenge for today, is to explore what it is you desire, explore what Wonderland looks like for you. And then this afternoon, we're going to take that one step further. So I will see you then. Bye bye.